All right, we are live 9 a.m. because I've got some wrestling tonight, so I had to do an early stream. But I hope everybody is doing well. Today, I want to talk about something that came to my attention yesterday. I've done a little bit of research about it, but I do want to do a lot more. What I learned about yesterday, though, was Fúxi. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the reason I want to talk about him is because if we check out this image here on Reddit, you will notice something as a Freemason you should care about. I'll give it a second. Let me know if you guys can see that. We have got Chinese creation gods Nuwa and Fúxī holding square and compass. You can see Fúxī has got the square and Nuwa has got the compass, which I've always thought, and I still do, that Freemasonry does tap into something that is universal, that goes back maybe, up to 3.5 million years if you want to count the, first creation of stone tools. But you see this idea in multiple cultures, including the Chinese creation gods. I think it's pretty incredible. So welcome. We're going to do it a few more minutes, going to see who joins us, but just how cool is it to see the square and compass being held by two Chinese legends, and what that maybe means in terms of something that Freemasonry has tapped into. You can even see the same thing. Hold on just one sec. On Wikipedia, you can see the exact same thing. I'm going to show you this image. And once again, you'll notice we have in the picture, so we get a better shot of this picture, you have the square and compasses being held. So, and honestly, I've talked before about wanting to explore more examples of stone masonry. I talked a lot about wanting to explore prehistoric stone masonry, as well as Celtic, or as well as Mesoamerican stone masonry. Never really talked about Chinese stone masonry, which might be worth exploring as well, because they obviously produce some absolutely amazing examples of stone masonry, as well as an amazing culture. But let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. And we'll kind of go from there. I know this is a much earlier stream than I normally hold, but that's because today I've got some wrestling to get to this afternoon. So I couldn't hold the stream as early as I would potentially, or at the usual 1 p.m. time, though we'll be back at 1 p.m. Eastern on Monday. But I do try to make sure I hold these, what am I trying to say? I do make sure I try to hold a live stream every day. If I have to switch up the time a little bit, then that's okay. So long as I get the chance to try to communicate with my audience. And in the meantime, I'm just going to wait to see if anybody jumps on and says hello, jumps in the chat. We still got plenty of time, but I do want to give it a few minutes to see anybody who jumps on. Just typing something out, sending it off. I'll just be 2 seconds. All right, so let's go off of. So, in case anybody is curious, Fuxi is a cultural hero in Chinese mythology, credited along with his sister Nuwa with creating humanity and the invention of music, hunting, fishing, domestication, and cooking, as well as a kanji system of writing Chinese characters around 2900 BC. Some representation shows human with snake-like characteristics, a leaf-wreathed head growing out of a mountain, or as a man clothed with animal skins. Pangu was said to be the creation god in Chinese mythology. He was a giant sleeping within an egg of chaos. As he awoke, he stood up and divided the sky and the earth. Pangu then died after standing up, and his body turned into rivers, mountains, plants, animals, and everything else in the world, among which is a powerful being known as Huaxi. Huaxi gave birth to a twin brother and sister, Fuxi and Nuwa. Fuxi and Nuwa are said to be creatures that have faces of humans and bodies of snakes. Fúxī was known as the original god, and he was said to have been born to the lower middle classes of the Yellow River in a place called Chengi. A possible historical interpretation of the myth is that Huaxi, Fuxi's mother, was a leader during the matriarchal society as early Chinese developed language skills, while Fuxi and Nuwa were leaders in the early patriarchal society, while the Chinese began marriage rituals. Among the three primal generators of Herein civilization, Fúxī and herein ranks first. Nuwa society was matriarchal. And so what I find so fascinating about this is the fact that Fúxī taught his subjects to cook various methods and hunting and fishing, including fishing with nets and hunting with weapons made of bone, wood, or bamboo. He instituted the basic family structure as well as marriage and offering the first open-air sacrifices to heaven. A stone tablet dated AD 160 shows Fúxī and Nuwa. Fúxī is said to have lived 197 years, although altogether, and died at a place called Chen. A monument to him can still be found and visited as a tourist attraction. But again, what I find so Douglas Marks, thank you. I am up early. Welcome. Thank you for being here. As you know, today I've got some wrestling this afternoon, so I decided to do my stream early. It's going to be a shorter stream because I get to wrestling. But Douglas Marks, I don't know if you've ever heard of Fúxī before. He's a Chinese creation god, but what's so fascinating about him is when you look at images of him and his twin sister, they are holding something very interesting when it comes to Freemasonry. You can see that, but you'll notice Chinese creation gods, Nuwa and Fúxī, holding square and compass. This is Fúxī holding a square, and this is his sister, Nuwa, holding a compass. And as to why they're holding a square and compass, I've been trying to do some more research on that. And let's see what I can find. Interesting. So in traditional Chinese art and mythology, Fúxī is often depicted as holding a square or carpenter square, while his sister and wife Nuwa holds a compass, symbolizing the traditional Chinese understanding of the universe as having a square earth and a round heaven. Fúxī and Nuwa are brother and sister, a couple in Chinese mythology, often depicted as the founders of civilization and creators of humanity. Nuwa is often associated with heaven and is depicted with a compass, representing the round sky. Fúxī, on the other hand, is associated with earth and is depicted with a square symbolizing the square ground. The symbols also reflect the concept of yin and yang, with Nuwa representing yin, feminine passive, and Fúxī representing yang, masculine active. Gulju, I believe that's pronouncing it correctly. The phrase Gulju, compass and square, or Guiju, is used to signify the way things should be, which that is pretty interesting when you think about what that means for Freemasonry. The fact that there's this ancient Chinese civilization that used the phrase, what would translate as compass and square, to mean the way things should be. Maybe that shows that Freemasonry tapped into something. Who knows? But Douglas Marks, hope that you are doing well. I'm going to do more research about this and maybe do a longer live stream at some point. But I think that's a kind of fascinating idea, is the square and compass is showing up in multiple cultures over time. I hope everybody is doing well. It's interesting. I had somebody leave some comments on my live stream yesterday, which seemed to be more negative towards Freemasonry. So I invited them to this live stream. We'll see if they show up. And if they do, maybe they can leave some comments. Hi, Cameron. I can't hear you. Douglas, can you hear me? I think Douglas Marks can hear me. So I'm not sure, Dad, if maybe your computer's not working properly. It's okay. This is going to be a short stream anyways, because like I said, I got to start getting ready to head my way over to wrestling soon. So I don't really have time to do a longer stream like I'd like. Okay. But it is a lot of fun to, like I said, find this connection. And this, this creation myth dates to 2800 BC. So we are seeing the idea of the square and compasses being important even in that time. The whole and compass and rule, respectively, which are symbols related to the traditional Chinese understanding of the universe, in which heaven is round and the earth is square. I'm going to go to see UNESCO for a second. As the Joseph Smith Foundation notes, Fuxi and Nuwa are considered in Chinese history as the founders and first rulers of China. They're depicted on tapestries, stone, and veils found in Chinese tombs. Fuxi is credited with bringing moral standards to China. In the beginning, there was as yet no moral or social order. Men knew their mothers only, not their fathers. When hungry, they searched for food. When satisfied, they threw away the remnants. They devoured their food, hide, and hair, drank the blood, and clad themselves in skins and rushes. Then came Fuxi, and looked upward and contemplated the images of the heavens, and looked downward and contemplated occurrences on earth. He united man and wife, regulated the 5 stages of change, and laid down the laws of humanity. He devised the 8 trigrams in order to gain mastery over the world: Bangu, Bahi, Tonji. Included in the depiction of Fuxi and Nuwa are symbols of particular interest to Latter-day Saints, which I'm not too interested in. Fuxi we see the king and queen embracing at their wedding, the king holding the square on high, the queen a compass. As it is explained, the instruments are taking the measurements of the universe at the founding of a new world and a new age. Fúxī holds a set square and plumb bob, plumb also being very important from Freemasonry, as he rules the 4-cornered earth, while his sister wife Nuwa holds the compasses pointing up, as she rules the circling heavens. The phrase Kuchu is used by modern Chinese to signify the way things should be, the moral standard It literally means the compass and the square. Fuxi and his sister, he with the carpenter's square and she with the pair of compasses. From the decoration incised on the wall of Wulang tombs, the second century AD, the Chinese word for carpenter's square, Ju, and a pair of compasses, Gui, together form the expression to establish order. This is what, according to their legends, Fuxi and Nuwa did. The carpenter's square also stands for the square that is symbol of earth, while the pair of compasses represent the circle, the symbol of heaven. Fuxi, the male yang, gives the order to the earth. Nuwa, the female, gives order to the heavens. In Chinese cosmological art during the Han Dynasty, two world creator deities were depicted holding architectural instruments that were used in the formation of heaven and earth, the compass and the set square. In a funerary context, these beings served as doorkeepers or guardians of boundaries who marked the division between inner and outer spaces. The depiction of these deities signifies transfer to another realm as early as the Warring States period. The Chinese compass and square symbolized a fixed standards and the rules that impose order on unruly matter. The Chinese deity who was shown holding the compasses was associated with bringing ordered space out of the chaos of the flood. While the other who held the square was credited with the invention of kingship. In traditional Chinese cosmology, the earth was square and the heavens round, and thus Fuxi holds a set square to draw the former, while Nuwa a pair of compasses to draw the circle of the earth. And also, he oftentimes is seen holding a plumb bob, which I think is another, well, it's another very important part of Masonic history or Masonic symbolism. So it's interesting, even ancient Chinese history, you see the square and compasses as being an important part of their history and the idea that for them, it represents the way things should be, which I think is fascinating and really cool. So you can kind of think whenever you're talking about Freemasonry and the square and compasses, you're also talking about potentially, at least in a Chinese sense, the way things should be, which is really fun. Just at the 5 stages of change. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad that you are checking it out. Like I said, I'm only going to do this stream. I'm going to do the stream for another 5 minutes or so. I wish I could go longer, but we'll be back on Monday and then we'll do the longer stream there once again. But in the meantime, I hope everybody is doing well. I'm looking forward to my events today. Head down to St. Clair College here in Windsor soon for some wrestling. All right, let's see. Let's give it another couple minutes, like I said, then I will be ending this stream for today. But don't worry, I'll be back tomorrow with another stream. Hey, I just noticed over here my my drawers are still open in the back there. Maybe I'll go shut those when I'm done here. But the fact that the phrase compass and square in Chinese symbolizes the way things should be, the fact that their creation myth includes 2 creators holding a square and compass, one to represent the square earth, the other to represent the round heaven. And the fact that the unity of those 2 things represents a unity between heaven and earth and the way things should be, I think is pretty fascinating. And again, it shows that these symbols were important for many different groups and many different cultures throughout history. So keep that in mind, and maybe I'll write something about that on Medium. By the way, if you get the chance to hit me up on Medium, Patreon, all that good stuff, please do so. Patreon.com/Square and Compass, or you can find me on Medium as well as Square and Compass if you want to see my written work. All right. Like I said, I wish I could have done this for longer, but every day I do try to do a live stream, even if I can only do it for a short period of time. This was one of those shorter live streams, but thank you to everybody who did tune in, even for a couple of minutes. Douglas, it's great to see you again or hear from you again. or see your name in the chat. Again, I hope that you are doing well. I'll be back to my 1 p.m. live stream, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live streams on Monday. So hope you'll check me out then. Thank you, everybody who did check us out. Dad, it's good to talk to you. I look forward to seeing you in person next week, and everybody else. I will be back to my normal 1 p.m. live streams. Don't forget, this Saturday at midnight, I've got another live stream happening on my personal channel, watching a midnight horror movie, Leprechaun 3, in honor of St. Patrick's Day. All right, guys, thank you so much. Dad says happy wrestling. Happy weekend to everybody. Check out Fúxī. It's kind of cool. I want to see square compasses appearing in other cultures. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.